So, when I was thinking about of an episode to have next after the bedrolls episode, I was going through my list of all the possible episodes that I could come up with before I started this podcast, and I had about 60 of them or whatever. Trying to go through it, and I was like, shit, this is a podcast pretty much about PTSD, so don't you think you should have one about, what the hell is PTSD? So, yeah, that's going to be this episode. So in this episode, we're going to go over what the hell is PTSD. I'm sure most of the vets know what it is, or at least heard about it. When I was coming up out of the Marine Corps and got involved in some motorcycle clubs, and there was a lot of vets in those motorcycle clubs, but those vets for normally the Vietnam guys. And the Vietnam guys, if we talked to them about anything about PTSD, they were kind of like, fuck that, man, you suck it up, whatever. They didn't have that. That name wasn't around when they were going through. They didn't get any help like that. They usually call it shell shock or, whatever. But it was basically, we all know how those guys were treated when they got back, which is fucked up. And no vet should ever be treated like that. But they didn't have any help with whatever they were dealing with. But I do see now, especially in the programs, like I said, I went through 2 of those programs, PTSD programs, and we're seeing a lot of Vietnam guys starting to come in because what's happening is they went right to work, didn't really talk about anything. Obviously, I wouldn't talk about it either if they were treated like that when they were come back. That was bullshit to begin with, but, they didn't have nobody to talk to. Wives, families, whatever. They probably took the brunt of all that stuff. And they just kept on working until they retired. And then now they're sitting around and everything's catching up with them. Because, when you have downtime like that and have time to think about shit, that's going to be when it hits you. So, but anyway, this episode is about what is PTSD. I'm not a doctor. I ain't going to freaking go over diagnoses and bullshit like that. And I'm just going to tell you the stuff I'm going through, because when I did go through the program, most of the guys had the same stuff. It was similar. There's a lot of different circumstances, obviously, but everybody, when I started talking about some of the stuff I did at home and isolation and the weird shit that I was doing all the time, everyone, holy shit, I do that too. And you kind of think to yourself, wow, I'm not the only one, because for a long time, for me, I know for a lot of other guys too, you think you're the only one that could possibly going through this shit, and this shit is just too fucked up to talk about, and no one understand, but they do, and we do. So that helped a lot. So this is the what is PTSD. All right, let's go. All right, I'm back. Got a new desk, a little more, well, not a little bit more room. There's actually drawers that I can put shit in without having to plop stuff up here. I was trying to figure out a place to put all this shit, and I realized I had drawers, so put most of the stuff away. So anyway, this episode is what is PTSD. So what is PTSD? A lot of people nowadays think it's, anything that upsets them, or I keep on hearing people talk about, oh, I got yelled at work today, I have PTSD or something like that. So it ain't that. Your feelings just got hurt, and just, I'm not even going to deal with that now, because that's just, I'm going to say something stupid, because that is stupid. But anyway, PTSD is related to generally extremely stressful situations, terrifying events. I include moral injury, and moral injury is something that you went along with. Say back in the Marine Corps, you were a new guy to the unit, and they're doing something fucked up, being extra aggressive with the population that we're trying to control. I can go down the road on that. We're going to have another episode on moral injury, so I'll dive more into that. I'm not really prepared to do that right now, nor do I really want to talk about it right now. That's PTSD. So they're also life-threatening events too. So a lot of people, if you get into maybe a car accident or a motorcycle accident or something like that, and you have your kid with you, I don't know, whatever, something that you see, like you see the wheels coming at you, and you're gonna in your head, you're thinking you're going to fucking die. Yeah, that can cause PTSD. Doesn't necessarily have to be getting shot at all the time. Because a lot of times you get law enforcement as well too that see some really fucked up shit. And I think I referred to that in one of the episodes about seeing shit. Be careful what you see, be careful what you hear, because a lot of that stuff you can't unsee it or unhear it, and it'll stay with you. It might not catch up with you right away, might not ever catch up with you. It depends. Everybody's different, man. Everyone's gonna handle this shit different. And sometimes it can affect your life. You get depressed for a little while, and then you just forget about it. I don't know. Because I haven't been able to do that with mine. Or you go down some really dark roads, fucking up all your relationships. A lot of people say it's on purpose, but in order for it to be on purpose, you have to be knowingly wanting to do that. And I don't... Maybe it's in your back of your brain that you're doing that. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, so I just know what I go through. So, but a lot of that stuff, you'll have anxiety, severe anxiety, uncontrollable thoughts. These thoughts keep on popping in your head, and you got to get them out. It's like, get the fuck out of my head. And at times I'll be hitting my head like this in the middle of traffic and shit, and everyone's looking at me like I'm a lunatic. But that's usually because I'm thinking of something that I don't really want to think about. And it just keeps on getting into my head. That's kind of what they call flashbacks as well, too. Flashbacks are not... I'm trying to generally define things because it's going to be different for everybody else. But sometimes it's going to be the same. I don't know, man. This is going to be a whole concept video because there's nothing really you can say, yes, that is PTSD, or this is what it's not like COVID, or, well, COVID's bullshit too, but I ain't gonna get into that either. A common cold or some virus or something like that you can say, yes, you definitely have this, and this is how we're going to treat it. PTSD isn't like that. It's different, but it's all the same. So I'll try to explain some of that. But depressions along with it, nightmares are freaking horrible. A lot of us, I'm going to generalize this one because I keep on hearing it all the time, but sleep, yeah, you got PTSD and you're a vet, man. I would put money on it. You're having a hard time sleeping. And right now I'm in the court system, so I'm not allowed to smoke weed or nothing like that, which helps me fucking sleep. So, but there's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. Intrusive thoughts are pretty severe for a lot of us. That's a big one. We just, that's why a lot of times you talk about triggers. Everyone talks about triggers. Oh, you trigger me, All right, well, sometimes triggers are something that triggers you that makes you think about some really fucked up end of life type stuff that happened, and you just want to get the hell out of there and just go home. And that's what avoidance is, because we all do that as well too. I'm going to generalize that one too. I guarantee you all the vets avoid shit, because I know I avoid shit, a lot of shit, and I just don't want to be... I'll go to the supermarket late at night if I even have to. I don't want to deal with crowds. I don't want to deal with a lot of people. I hate small talk, all the negative shit that goes along with it. So I'm going to touch on some more stuff on that in a little bit. All right. So let's get into it a little. I explained the definition or lack of definition in the intro about what PTSD is. So I'm not going to go over that because I could go on for years and years and years with that. So for all the veterans out there, see your counselor at the VA. Please get into the VA. Ask for a counselor, and you should be able to get one. Talk to your primary or whatever, and that's how they usually hook you up with a counselor. So there's a lot of aspects to PTSD and what happens after that. So if you don't recognize it, there's some things that are pretty much all the same for all veterans, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why we get PTSD. It could be some shit before the Marine Corps. It doesn't have to be all military related, because most of the time, and I don't want to say most because that's an all-encompassing statement, but a lot of us had shitty childhoods. I'm not saying my childhood was shitty, but it was fucked up. But there was a lot of trauma going on in my childhood. So there was a lot of trauma in the Marine Corps. There was a lot of trauma after the Marine Corps. So, and stuff like that just builds up. That's why they call it complex PTSD. It just builds up and builds up and builds up. And you might be able to manage it. For me, I guess I managed it for a while. I got married in the Marine Corps. That went on for almost 20 years. But I did some stupid shit along the way. And eventually I got let go from my last job in the computer industry. I was a computer forensics analyst, engineer, whatever you want to call it. But I was doing some pretty highly technical stuff. So completely blew that out of the water. And that's where I think the wheels came off. Probably was coming off before that, because if I asked my kids about it, they could probably bring up some stuff. And that's one of the episodes I want to come up with as well, too, is actually having PTSD and the effects on your kids. So, because I keep on hearing that a lot from vets that have PTSD. And one of the things they are worried about if they do have kids, that they don't want to take that shit out on their kids. And sometimes we do that. Sometimes we put fear in our kids because we're so fucking paranoid about everything that we start reflecting that on our kids, and then they pick it up, and they kind of just carry along that our PTSD as well as then their own, I guess. So, but this right here is what I had from the VA Batavia, the first episode that I had. These are all the groups we had, plus, the first time I was there, I had groups. There was a group on relationships that I took even before that. So I've kept everything pretty much for the most part. And I'm going to be doing episodes on most of these subjects in here. Like I was saying, about anger management and avoidance and moral injury. There's all kinds of stuff in this book. So we're going to get to all that. But one of the biggest consequences of having PTSD is the anger. And that is pretty much across the board with most vets. Most vets are type A personalities, alphas, and we don't like being told what to do. If somebody has an argument with us and we are going to up and over that violence or that aggression 100 times over, because that's just a thing, I guess. And most veterans fall into that category. We're argumentative. We're always right. And nobody's going to tell us shit. And we will fight at a drop of a dime most of the time. Especially when you're going down that PTSD road, it gets worse. Everything gets amplified. That's what I want to say. All your anger gets amplified. All your rage gets amplified. All your emotion. Even the whole spectrum. I can show you. There's these wheels that we have in here, and among the spectrum of emotions like sadness, grief, happiness, joy, anger, just everything. Everything is extreme. That's what I want to say. Everything's extreme. Your sadness is extreme. I would say just something would hit me in the middle of the day. I could be doing nothing, and I'd smell something or I'd see something or hear something, whatever. And all of a sudden it triggers a memory from who the fuck knows what. And I just feel like the world was coming down all around me, and just, sitting in a corner and crying, what the fuck, and, losing half hours, almost like you were abducted by a UFO, and you lose track of time and shit. That's how it is. For me anyway. I mean, I have heard from other vets when we all sit down in groups. That's what when I went to Batavia, I keep on bringing up this book because I keep on reading it, and I'm no expert in PTSD. I'm not a doctor. I'm just went through this shit. So, but when I talk to the other vets when I was in the group, and you start bringing up this stuff, and everybody starts talking about this stuff, you find that, oh yeah, that shit that you do that you think no one else does, everyone's over there nodding their head, going, yeah, man, I did that too. And I'm like, holy shit, really? I said, I thought I was just the only lunatic that does that crap. But you're not alone. So whatever you think you do you don't want to tell anybody, there's going to be other people out there that do the same damn thing. When I have an episode, what is PTSD? It's hard I can't come out here and do a medical diagnosis and you have PTSD this, because you know what? People at VA can't even do that either. So I don't give a shit. Your psych, your counselor, or whatever, they're listening to you, and they're the ones going to say, yeah, you have PTSD, but again, who are they? So when you feel like you're not part of this society, which most of the time I don't feel like I'm part of the society. I'm just this outcast out here, and and you try to hang around people that are similar. That's why I hang around a lot of vets. I hang around a lot of, I guess they're alpha personalities, because you don't want to have to be looked upon as some weirdo. When you're in, I call it regular society, when you're in some, situation at the supermarket or something like that, two of us are talking and you got these people looking at us like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with these dudes? We're talking about, I don't know, situations where we're walking down the road and, we got to eye everybody up and figure out 10 ways to put the motherfuckers down, When you start looking at life like that and having hypervigilance is another thing. You're always on the lookout. You got to close the windows, got to close the window shades, got to lock the doors. Are you checking the doors to make sure they're locked 10 times a fucking night? If you hear something, you're coming out with whatever kind of weapon you got. I'm not going to go into that. I want to be put on another list or something. But when you start doing shit like that and you're getting more and more paranoid, that's the rabbit holes that I'm talking about going down. When you start just doing stuff that's not normal. You see, I can't even say normal now, because it's what the fuck is normal, And there's a lot of times that you get counselors saying, well, is that what you want to do your whole life? And if there was a pill, could you take it and not be hypervigilant? But then you get down to these things, and I know some of these guys, whoever's watching it, and if they're saying, well, yeah, I kind of want to be hypervigilant because that's where I've lived for so long that even if there's no threat out there or the threat is lower, I still want to be. No one says hypervigilant. They say freaking, I want to be prepared, right? I want to be ready. I want to be ready. And then, what are you going to be ready for? I don't know, fucking anything. It makes me feel better if I'm carrying something. I've done martial arts for freaking, I don't know how many freaking years now, a long time. And it still doesn't feel like I'm ready. So I'm always, it's training. You're always training. You're always training. You're always training. You're always trying to figure out what you can do to better yourself, to be ready for these situations. So I'm not sure if that's explaining PTSD or not. I think I went off on a sidetrack thing there. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to review this video after I shoot it, but I think I'm just rambling on it at this point. But I'll check it in the video edits and see what I can pull out of this. But my whole thing is, you can't really, it's hard to explain PTSD. So when I decided to do this episode, I thought it was going to be easy, but then I started getting into it, and I'm talking about it, and my biggest recommendation would be to get into the VA and start asking about it, because they do have resources. If you do need to go to, a Batavia thing like I did, a PTSD program, do it, man. Even if you only go in for a little bit, they had a 3-week or 4-week program, I think, or something like that. I had to go in for the amount of time that I did go on to. I actually went longer than I was actually scheduled, but I wanted to take care of as many things as I could, and I did have the time, and, I knew I was just going back to court anyway, so what the fuck, I'd just rather be there among vets and friends and stuff. So, and it definitely helped. So that's what I can say about these things. A lot of people ask me, does it really help? Yeah, it really helps. Don't ever ask me if, are you cured yet, or things have gotten better, but it's never going to be cured. I just went on a trip this weekend, and it was a bike event. So there had to be over shit, I don't know, hundreds, just literally hundreds of us. And I knew mostly everybody, but still, when you get in those small rooms and there's a crowd, and I know everybody that's watching this right now know where I'm going with the whole crowd thing. When it starts filling up and there's a lot of people around and you gotta snake through the crowd to get through to anywhere, and the music's going and it's loud and you can hear it in your brain, that's when I have to make my exit. And I can only handle that for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And maybe somebody would, if somebody goes with me, things are probably going to be like, you didn't last 15, 20 minutes. You were there in like 5 minutes and you're like, let's get the fuck out of here, right? So that could happen. I lose kind of track of time when that stuff happens. I just start getting very anxious and just want to get the fuck out of there. And that's what kind of happened this weekend. So, but I didn't leave totally. I went around. There was a lot of stuff to do outside. And when I'm outside, I'm still scanning and looking around. But it's not as bad as when you're in an enclosed room and space, even though the space was big. But I got to get out of there when shit like that happens. I can only take it for so long. But I do go. So I'm not avoiding the shit totally, which is a good start. Like I said, you're not going to be ever cured for this. I don't know if I'll ever be comfortable doing that ever again. But at least I'm going. It was a mandatory event for us, but, you know, that didn't mean that I had to stay in that building for 5 hours, because that was not going to happen. And if somebody told me that and you had to, sorry, bro, not going to do it. Not happening. It's not going to work. When I do have to be in a place with a lot of people, I'll always pick my spot. I'm not going to get caught in the middle of shit. There's no way I can do that. I have been caught in places like that. Felt like I was going to pass out, and I'm just trying to get the fuck any excuse to get out of there. I'll fucking lie, and just I can't take it. So you feel like you're going to pass out, and you feel like you're going to throw up, and it's bad. So if you connect with any of the shit that I'm saying, what is PTSD? PTSD, basically, some bad shit happened to you, and it was bad enough that it shook the shit out of you, and it lasted. So it wasn't that you go home and be like, God, glad I'm out of that one, done. Start laughing about whatever. No, it was like, holy fuck, man. It shakes you to the core, you know, and then you start having, you know, after a while, you might have nightmares, might not have nightmares. I don't know, man, but it's something pretty bad. And like I said in the introduction to this thing, it's not somebody yelling at you. I keep on hearing everybody say shit like this all the time nowadays, and everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon. And even vets, when we do go to programs like this in Batavia, you'll got guys out there that you'll start hearing stories, because everyone, you can't go there and not tell your story. You can't go be there and be like, yeah, shit happened in the Marine Corps. That's it. I'm going to talk about it. That's all I'm going to talk about. And be like, all right, well, if you're not going to talk about it, get the fuck out of here. What are you trying to accomplish? So you got to talk about shit. So when you talk about shit, you'll even have guys in there. I saw 14 people getting gunned down, and then you'll have some other guy be like, well, I saw 15. And then you got guys that, I was stationed with the Navy SEALs and special ops, and, you know, we took out an entire village and burned it down, or some stupid shit like that, or I saw the pink mist or whatever. So, yeah, there's always shit like that with vets. And you let them tell their story, whatever, man, and just take it with a grain of salt. You're not there to compete with anybody else. If you're doing that, then don't bother going. You're doing it to take care of your shit and your shit only. You're getting help for yourself. You're not trying to, it's a fucked up thing to say, but you're not there to help anybody else. If you do help somebody else, then great. If you don't, and you help yourself, great. That's what you're supposed to do. You can't cure everybody. You can do shit to help people. Like that's why I'm doing this. So, it is what it is. All right. All right. This is bonus footage. I don't know if you'd call it bonus footage or not, because this is fucked up right now. So I didn't think this was going to happen, but I wanted to get this on video, so y'all kind of this is me losing my shit. All right. So what happened basically was I went to refill my medications, and this is a medication that I have a very short time frame that I go into withdrawals with this thing. I ain't going to discuss what it is because it don't fucking matter. But anyway, and I thought I was good because I didn't see it show up in my prescription refill thing that I do online. And so I started calling the VA, and what happened, and I know I praise Batavia VA for getting me through all this, but you guys kind of fucked me. So I'm pretty pissed off right now. I'm losing my shit. So they basically canceled the medication that should have never been canceled. And now I'm having trouble getting it back. And I've been now I'm on 2 days and not taking this. Not this morning when I woke up, and yesterday I was like, oh, no symptoms of see, I can't even think right fucking now. There was no symptoms of withdrawal. So I was like, oh, maybe I am good. Maybe I am good. Then I decided to go get up, slept at home, was fine. Got up in the morning, was fine. Decided to go out and get some stuff done. And I should have fucking stayed inside, man. I completely lost my shit. And I went into the one of the places that I had to go to. I had no food left here, so I had to go get some food. And I was just like, I'm going in and out. I'm going in and out. But I'll tell you what. So this is basically what it feels like right the fuck now. I'm telling you guys this because this episode is what is PTSD, and since I'm fucking freaking the fuck out like this, might as well use this to. I don't know whoever fucking benefit's gonna get benefit out of this. I don't fucking know. But so when I was in the store, you know, I get this overwhelming, crushing feeling like I'm gonna fucking pass out or have a heart attack. I was grabbing the cart. I thought I was gonna crush my hands, crush the cart. That was, you know, anything. I just didn't want. I was just thinking to myself, please don't let anybody talk to me. Please don't let anybody fucking talk to me. Please, you know, or do something stupid, you know, because on the way out, I was already looking at people like, all right, yeah, I literally growled at someone, man. That's and you know, I could feel the anger just for no fucking reason, man, no fucking reason. And I even told the VA, I said, VA, this is one of the reasons why I ended up getting in, you know, big trouble and catching a couple, you know, felonies that I'm trying to work myself out of right now, because they did short me. Yeah, it's my fault that I didn't check up on and refill these things, but this one, I thought I had enough left because the VA at Batavia gave me a whole big bag of stuff. I thought that stuff was in there. I thought I was good, and you guys canceled it, and I don't know why the fuck you guys did that. So, you know, this is not good right now, and you know, so what else am I feeling? I've never done cocaine, but I know guys that have been on cocaine. And the way they're describing the way they act is exactly how I feel right now. I feel like freaking just like if somebody were to come up to me right now and say something even remotely stupid, even that I perceive it as stupid, probably wouldn't be stupid. Like, forget about it, man. It's over. I'm going through them. I'm going right the fuck through them. It's not going to be good at all. But I'm trying to record this episode because, you know, this is what I said in the beginning, man. This shit's fucking real. And I can't even fucking sit still right now. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this for. But I just wanted to describe some of the stuff that was going on. So, you know, like if you guys are feeling this way, you know, I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to accomplish. But anyway, yeah, my fucking heart rate's going out of the world right now. I'm shaking. I start feeling electrical shit, like twings and like you're tweaking, like you see freaking crackheads doing stuff. Just I'm sweating like a motherfucker right now. I can't keep my breath. I feel like I have to, like, right now, I just want to isolate big time. I just want to go in my room. Like, I get the door and I'm in my studio right now. It's not my studio. It's another fucking bedroom. But, I lock that fucking door. I never lock the door when I come in here. I just lock the door. I don't want anybody to fuck with me. Like, I'm in my house, and, I got the window open. I'm not supposed to have the window open because it's supposed to fuck up the sound, but I don't give a shit right now because I feel like I'm going to pass out. And this is basically what they call high anxiety panic attack or freaking whatever what else can I describe here? Yeah, I'm itchy. I'm freaking itchy. All my hands are itchy. Like this is what happens to me because I have some kind of, when I'm stressed out and I eat something, I still don't know what it is yet. I start breaking out in hives and I start itching here. That's the way I feel right now. Everything. I feel like I want to grab something. Fucking that camera was a person right now. I'd freaking be grabbing it right around the fucking neck. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. So, that's all, man. Shit's real. Got real. Okay. So I just went through the video and watched the entire thing about me melting down. Basically what happened was I went to grab a refill of my meds that were supposed to be in my cabinet because when I came home from Batavia, I had a whole big bag of medications that they had given me, and they were all supposed to be refilled, all the ones that I was taking down at Batavia. So apparently that didn't happen. The bag was not up to date, so it didn't have one of my main meds, and that one is the one that I go into complete withdrawal from and have all kinds of shit. I don't know, hallucinate. Well, you saw the video. I was having all kinds of mental shit happen. Just watching that video gave me anxiety, so I know exactly what I was going through. Thank God for my counselor at the VA that I actually saw that day, and she got me out of probably having the cops come to my house, because I called around. I called my psychiatrist. I tried to get hold of the Batavia. I tried to get a hold of the psychiatrist at Batavia. I had to try to get a hold of the primary physician at the VA, which I did. Finally talked to her, and she's like, well, we can set you up an appointment for 3 days. And I can't wait 3 days. I mean, that video would have gotten worse. That shit would have gotten a lot worse. And I said some pretty fucked up shit on the phone. She was going to call the cops on that. My counselor persuaded her not to, which, thank God, that's what she did, because it would not have been that would not have ended well. So, and all they needed to do was fix what they had screwed up on. And somebody definitely dropped the ball. I should have been on top of this because I know what I'm supposed to take and when I'm supposed to take it. But I made the mistake of putting my, not trust, but thinking that everything had been taken care of the correct way, the way it should have been taken care of, and it wasn't. So that didn't happen. But I've heard of a lot of examples of guys, their medications get screwed up, something stupid shit happens. And I know I keep on telling everybody to go to the VA, and I still recommend that as well. You gotta keep your eyes open too. Don't go into it blindly. So, that said, you need to start, if you haven't started the process already of getting a counselor, getting in there, getting in the psych, do that. Hook up with somebody at the VA. And you don't have to stay with the counselor that you have. You don't have to stay with your primary physician that you have. You don't have to stay with your psych. Whatever you're going in for, neurologist, I don't know, whatever other ailments you have, podiatrist, whatever. You don't have to stay with them if you don't think they're in your best interest. So, or your counselor, you just don't relate to your counselor, or you feel just, I've had counselors before that I'm telling them stories and stuff like that, not stories, but shit that actually happened in real life, in the military, home life, kid life, and they're looking at me like, Jesus, what the fuck? And you can't have that. You can't have somebody that's just scared of you. You can't do that. So they got to be relatable to you. And it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be in the military or have gone to the same things or the same age or whatever. They just have to be able to relate to it and not look like they're going to be executed in the next 5 minutes. So in order for them to help you, they have to know you, and they have to not be scared of you either. So you're supposed to be able to tell them anything, right? Well, don't start blurting out shit like you're going to, So counselors, physicians, whatever, they're under the law of if you're a danger to yourself or your others, then they have to report that. So just keep in mind that when you start throwing shit out there and, threatening people or whatever, you say, I can't take it. No, I'm going to fucking kill someone, right? Don't do that shit. So try to keep it together at least for that. Other than that, when you go and see your counselor or your psych, you should be able to tell them what's going on. You shouldn't be able to have them hold back or worry about them looking at you like you had 3 heads or something like that. You can get another counselor if that's happening, or a psych or primary or whatever it is. So that said, I've tried to explain PTSD in this episode. Hope you guys got something out of it. If you like what you've seen so far with these episodes, please subscribe on whatever platform that you're watching this on. Check out beyondtheseabag.com because that has all the new episodes that are coming out, all the next episodes that are coming out. I have that on the website with the description of what it is. There'll be more resources put up there when I get to it. I'm still getting used to doing podcasts, episodes every 2 weeks. I'm just doing this by myself, so it's kind of it's getting easier. I'm learning the equipment, so I'll hopefully become easier and more easier to doing this stuff, and I can actually do some other stuff on the website or get into more in-depth interviews with other guests. Just tried to put some equipment together and didn't work. I don't know. Sometimes this is way above my head, and I'm going to my kids and asking them for advice on how to do this shit. So, but and again, any suggestions you guys have, please comment as much as you can. Comment if you like it. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. But anything that you want to see, anything that you could suggest for the website or the episodes, I don't know, whatever you want, man. So I'll read it all. I'd appreciate that. And that's about it. Hope you like this episode, right? So, Beyond the Sea Bag. This is a check. This is only a check of fucking bullshit. Fucking